Hey, what's going on, y'all? Listen, if your palate wants some creamy, cheesy, rich, fluffy mashed potatoes, I got the recipe for you. Stay with me as we put this all together, this amazing mashed potatoes. Okay, guys, first thing I'm gonna do is start my water. It's cold. I've got some golden Yukon potatoes, and fortunately they had these little baby potatoes, and they're great because I don't have to cut as much. But if they're big, you want to cut them in quarters. The ideal thing is that you want all your potatoes to be the same size, okay? So that way, when you start mashing them, you don't have any that's bigger than the other. So we're just gonna cut these like this. And then we're just gonna dump them into our cold water. You won't start off with cold water. I'm gonna put a little salt in my water. All right, so we got about 10 to 15 minutes. We're gonna let these boil. And then once they boil, then we'll drain them. And so I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I want to quickly go through the ingredients. It's not a lot of ingredients. I got some golden Yukon potatoes boiling. We got butter. We got half and half. We got salt and pepper. I got some chives. The kicker is, and the star to this recipe is, I have some smoked Gouda cheese that I'm gonna blend in with these tasty mashed potatoes. But it's not on the table. I keep it in the refrigerator for a reason, so that when I finally start grating it, it's got a firmness to it. If you let it sit out, then it gets a little mushy. So those are the ingredients. If you missed one, check them out in the description box below, so that you'll have all the ingredients when you get started. All right, guys, it's been about 20, 25 minutes. Let's take a look. What I like to do to check my potatoes, you see how I can almost take this and bend them. That tells me that they're ready. I'm just gonna drain them in the colander. Turn my heat off. You can see they're not mushy to where your water starts to discolor. That's why I like the Yukon potatoes. They hold a little bit better. And we're just gonna drain these. All right. And while they're draining, we're gonna go ahead and make our milk and butter. So what we're gonna do is take a whole stick of butter. You gotta have butter for good mashed potatoes. Work that around, let our butter melt a bit. While that's melting, I'm gonna go ahead, just to save time, and grab it's nice and firm, it's cold. That's the way you want it when you get ready to grate it. I just want this butter to melt, and then we're gonna add our half and half in there. So while it's doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and grate about a cup of Gouda. And because I had it in the refrigerator, you can see how firm it is. So I can get good grade. I want to add my half and half, but I want to at least have my butter all melted so that it incorporates better. We want about a cup. That's about a cup. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I like Gouda. The smokiness of this Gouda is just gonna wake those potatoes up. Okay, we'll let that sit. Now, we're gonna go in with our half and half. Yeah, just like that. All we're doing is building the base. We'll turn it down. We don't want to burn no milk. This is so simple, so easy. You know, even though it's gonna taste like a gourmet mashed potatoes that you might get at a nice steak restaurant, it really doesn't take that long at all. And all we're trying to do is warm it and have it completely incorporated. So this is only about 2 or 3 minutes if it's that long. Turn your heat all the way down to low. As you can see, the steam is starting to come off of it. That's all you want to do with it. So give it one more last little shock, and then I'm gonna remove it from the heat. That's perfect. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna take the pot that had my potatoes in them, and I don't know if you guys do it, but I like to do it. I like to put them back in the pot while it's hot. And the reason I do that, and I'm gonna season them a little bit with a little salt and pepper. And I'm gonna stir them just a bit. And what I'm doing is basically just drying them, okay? And you can see they're already coming apart. If you're not a fan of the skin, I could have peeled them, but I kind of like the skin. It gives it texture. All right, and then I'm just gonna mash them like so. I'm gonna turn the heat off. And mash. If you don't have one of these mashers, they're really nice to have. They really make sure that you really mash them. I actually couldn't find mine for a long time. And if you don't have one, I was just using a slotted spoon because it has those holes in it. And it pretty much gave me the same thing. And you want to get a really good mash on them. Like so. And we're gonna mash them again. But now we're gonna go in with our warm cream. Let me move my cheese over. I wanna make sure y'all can really see. So now we come in with our cream. Now, I caution you, the way I do potatoes is, or anything, I put in a little bit of cream at a time, because what I'm trying to do, if you put in too much, you can't take it out. So you want to put in a little at a time, and then it depends on how thick you want them. Like these are still just a little thick, but if you notice, like the Yukon potatoes give it this golden look along with the butter. So I'm just gonna add just a little bit more, stir a little bit, so that if you like your potatoes a little more runny, then you can add a little more or a little less. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, I like my potatoes really creamy. So I just take my whisk. I add salt and pepper. One thing about cooking is you cook as you go and you taste as you go. So I'm gonna give it a little taste to see if it needs any more salt or pepper. Yeah, I would add a little more salt. A little generous amount of salt in it. It's a little bland. So I'm gonna whisk that again. They're thickening up. Probably just a little thick, so I'm gonna add a little more of my cream. You see, that's one of the keys to mashed potatoes is, even though I made a ton of cream, I'm not putting it all in there at once. I may even have to add a little more because we're gonna add this cheese to it, which is gonna thicken it up. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. You just do it as you go. And you see all the skin from the potatoes they have incorporated beautifully. So we're just gonna add a handful of cheese, a stir, a little more. I would assume your kids would go crazy over this. And then we'll add the last bit. And you're just kind of folding it in. And the heat from the potatoes will melt the cheese. So we're gonna let that sit. And now, I'm gonna let that sit right here. Well, right here. I'm gonna grab me some chives, just for a little oniony flavor, and just kind of chop those up. Nice little bits, like so. Then take a chives and we'll go right in with it. Adds a little color, makes it gourmet. Let it sit for just a second, then we're gonna come right back. I'm gonna plate them up, we're gonna give it a taste. Okay, folks, it's about that time. So I'm just going to sit it here. Look how creamy they are, y'all. They just sit up almost like ice cream. I have to say, I have put together another great dish. Let me just give it a taste. Y'all. The extra salt that I added at the end was just perfect. I mean, they're creamy. You taste and you really taste the smoked Gouda that's bursting through these potatoes, and the chive just takes it up a whole nother notch. Listen, y'all, again, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you like this video, as I always end by saying, tell a friend to tell a friend, to hit that subscribe button, to check me out, hit the like button, leave a comment, because I do read my comments, and hit the notification. A lot of you are not aware that when you hit that notification, every time one of my new videos come up, then it notifies you. So then you can click right on and you can check it out. I hope you enjoy it. I would love to see you make this. And until next time, bon appetit. I think I might just go find me a steak and throw together with these delicious mashed potatoes or some chicken. But I'm gonna make a meal out of it. Thanks so much. See you soon.